Hi everybody, Fred the Pirate here, and I'm here to do a review of Attack on Titan episode 18. So overall, I have to say that this was a really interesting episode. Well, at least it was a really entertaining episode. Although I have to say nothing really major happened. So pretty much what happens is that the Recon Division has figured out about the female Titan, and so to, I guess, slow down and to evade the female Titan, that they decide to go into this forest of giant trees and kind of lure the Titan into there because they know the Titan's chasing them. So essentially, this works fairly well. What happens is that the Recon Division splits, where the central part of the Recon Division, which has Eren, goes straight into the forest. The left flank of it goes around, and what's left of the right flank is also supposed to go around. And so I think part of the left and right flank that they're told by their officers to get up into trees so they can kill any of the Titans that try to make it into the forest. And so essentially, that's kind of what happens. We get to see a lot of scenes of the Recon Division fighting the female Titan, and those are really, really cool. But eventually, the female Titan does make it into the forest, and she kind of evades completely the left and right flanks, and she kind of just busts right into the forest because she keeps killing everybody that's supposed to stop her. And so she eventually meets up with Eren and Levi and his crew, and so they're trying, I guess their plan is, because the trees are so large, that they'll just get up into the trees and that they'll use their 3D maneuvering gear to get to the female Titan. But the group Eren's with, they see her killing all their backup replacements, and they're kind of afraid that the female Titan's going to catch up to them. And it turns out that, they're kind of just keeping ahead of her enough not to die. And so a lot of Levi's subordinates are kind of wondering, when they're going to start using the gear, because Levi hasn't given the word yet. And so pretty much they're kind of just leading the female Titan on a cat and mouse chase. And when the episode ends, Levi's subordinates are screaming at him, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? And he says, alright, I want you guys to cover yours, and he pulls out his gun, and I think it's obvious that he's going to fire some flare, and that's pretty much where the episode ends. And I think the preview for next week's episode kind of suggests that we're going to continue having run-ins with this female Titan. So otherwise, I have to say, not a lot really happened, because it definitely wasn't like last week's episode where we learned some new stuff. We're kind of just seeing the female Titan in action. And, I was kind of hoping that eventually in this week's episode, Eren would somehow turn into a Titan and then he'd fight the female Titan. But so far, that doesn't look like that's happening. I imagine that at some point that probably will happen. I'm not really sure what Commander Erwin's plan is, but I think it's obvious from Levi's actions that he's in on it. The only thing that I can think is Levi's plan is to lead the female Titan as far into the forest as possible, and I guess eventually he's going to run into some particular spot where either they're going to run into the rest of their comrades, and then they're going to trap the female Titan and do something with her where she can't easily escape. I know with the preview we see Hanji, so I think obviously she's going to show up, and there's going to be something involving her and the female Titan. So I'm thinking maybe their plan is to lure the female Titan into the forest so they can capture her and maybe experiment on her and not necessarily kill her. So I'm thinking that's probably what's going to happen. Yeah, so that's pretty much what happened in this week's episode. There was a lot of cool moments. One of the funny moments is that in the beginning of the episode, Jean and Armin and Reinhardt, who's the muscly guy, his name is not Thomas, it is Reinhardt. So eventually, Jean loses his horse, and they only have Reinhardt's horse because I think Armin's horse got killed last episode. So they're trying to figure out a way to get Jean's horse back, or else they're going to have to abandon somebody. So they decide, Armin decides to signal his flare gun to let him know that an emergency happened, and they get picked up by this pretty blonde girl named Krista, who's really glad to see him, and she has Jean's horse and another horse, so they can all get on a horse and they can get back into formation. And it's really funny because all the guys are really enamored with Krista because she's really pretty and cute, and pretty much all of them say that she's a goddess and that they. I think Reinhardt says, I'm going to marry her. And so that's really funny. I know earlier in the series, I think Krista's already kind of gotten hit on before, but I think the first time she got hit on, it was by a lady. So I think she's kind of the character that a lot of people seem to be enamored with. So that was kind of a nice moment of levity in the series. It was really cool seeing the female Titan fight, like especially the one scene where she's in the village and she's getting attacked by the 3 recon members, and like she just jumps up in the air after they all stab him, and then she like just smushes one guy into a wall, and then she takes another guy and she's lifting him up by the cord for his gear, and she's just looking at him, and he's like saying, don't kill me, and then she just like flings him around by saying, she's like turning him, that was really cool. And then obviously the commander of the guys, he tries to run off and warn him, but she just like punt kicks the shit out of this guy and his horse, and she sends the guy that she had by the cord of his maneuvering gear and the horse guy, like she like punted those motherfuckers several hundred feet. Like those guys went fucking flying. And that was pretty cool. I have to say, there was a lot of cool ass fight scenes and a lot of cool action scenes in this. But like I said, not really a lot to value with the plot. But it was still a really entertaining episode, and we still had a lot of really cool moments. So I really thought that this week's episode was really entertaining. I'm definitely looking forward to next week's episode as always. And I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on this week's episode. So make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you guys again next time.